really briefly go through that, and then and then Jim will turn into a werewolf halfway through the
With
episode.
fucking light. I'm just like,
Hello there. Welcome back to the Space Cowboys podcast. I'm Jim.
oh wait, no, I'm Jim.
Wait a second.
Or am I Jim or am I Kyle? I'm Kyle. Oh
Just
yeah.
just for the oh yeah, brother. Um
Oh yeah.
so
Yeah.
th this should be our third episode. We had recorded a second episode, and unfortunately, due to the Gremlins online, has been lost. So you'll never hear how many slurs we managed to drop in one episode.
It was bad. It was. You know what? We had a little segment where it was. This is probably why losing that episode was best for everyone involved. But we each came up with sponsor names and forced the other one to read them without saying what they were. And I think I'm glad that no one's going to be able to hear me say some of the things I said. So,
Yeah. We'll see what happens later if we bring that back or not. I mean, they're very fully real and legitimate sponsors, Jim. I don't know what you're talking
oh
about.
yeah, yeah, Subway,
Yeah, of course. Pre-Jared.
which we wouldn't be the first episodic show to feature Subway. Community did it,
Right.
and then Chuck did it.
Yeah.
But can we can we just have a moment for a moment of silence to just mourn how much of a dick Zachary Levi became?
Dude. Okay. Genuinely, like, kind of bums me out because he's so fun with
Kind of. I
Shazam.
was so fucking
He's
sad. I was
Chuck is
like,
great.
come
Yeah.
on.
He's such a dick, man. He just keeps digging himself into a bigger and bigger hole like the more he talks. He's a nut job
Yeah.
now.
It's
Yeah.
I don't I don't know how people get that way. But however, maybe this is a bridge. Uh, with my recent string of Lost episodes, which we'll get into shortly, I mean, it kind of nails the human experience in that show,
Oh yeah.
where people just one episode I'm like, "Hey, this guy's great," and the next episode I'm like, "The f are you doing?"
I think so. You've moved on to season two. We can get right into
Yeah.
the Lost. We're going down the hatch for Jim's Lost experience, and I'm gonna start doing like time codes. So if you want to skip ahead to post Lost talk, go to this. I don't know where I'm gesturing, but go to this time
I don't know.
code.
I'm just doing the DX thing. It's like I'm in
um,
seventh grade again, walking through the halls, and I'd see a friend and go, "Hey, suck it," you know.
yeah, if you are not caught up, this is Jim's most recent episode is season 2, episode 15, maternity leave. So you can skip ahead if you want to. But I was going to mention you talking about like a lot of swerves on people. Season 1 does it more so, but there's so many times I can think of in season 1 specifically where like so Jin is a great example, or Michael. They're absolute dick bags, and then you're like, oh wait a minute, okay, there's a little more to this guy, I think, and especially Jin. And now you're in like my favorite Jin phase, where like he's come back a hero. He's way nicer to his wife. Dude's fucking jacked all of a sudden. Like that timeout on the raft really did some shit for him, you know? Like,
They had some time to kill.
yeah, for sure. No, you got him and Sawyer. Sawyer almost died, so he's got like a lot more favor with the camp. Um, yeah, give me your
Well,
thoughts. You're way caught
he
up.
did. He
Oh
did.
shit, yeah, so you've gotten to the heel turn.
I got the one of the most recent episodes I saw was the Long Con,
That's right.
and so last time I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna wait. Much like Paula Cole, I don't want to wait. Now, oh my very little quick Dawson's Creek Samsung channel update. I just watched an episode where Dawson finds out that Joey and Pacey are sneaking behind his back, and everyone ragged. I went on Reddit because there's a dedicated Dawson's Creek Reddit page,
A very
and they were
alive and
dogging.
thriving Reddit
They
page,
were
I'm sure.
yeah right. They were dogging Dawson, and like yes, he is self-involved and whatever. But like they really did him dirty there. No one was honest to him about anything, and then they got mad at him for how he reacted. Like, what did they
Right.
imagine he's gonna do? Just be like, "Hey, man, all right, cool. I'm gonna drown myself in the creek." Anyway, um, last time I had said my top three favorite characters were one, Jack, two, Locke, three, Hurley. And I messaged you earlier. Two of the three have changed. Now, I would very much like to hear your guess as to who got bounced out and who is now part of the top three.
So I think Jack is still at number one. I think he's remaining the top dog for you. Which I can't blame you for. Even in season two, he's a little more paranoid, but like I can understand it considering the fucking
Oh, he's
hatch and
incredibly paranoid.
all the shit he's dealing with. Like if I had to deal with John Locke every week, I would also be really paranoid. But and I say that as like he's my favorite character. So I think Jack is still at the top, but I think Locke and Hurley have been booted down, and I think that Sawyer has taken the number two spot. Maybe it's wishful thinking. And I think that it's tough because I would have thought Hurley would have remained in the top three. Um, I know it's not Ana Lucia because if it's Ana Lucia, I'm going to stop the podcast early. We're going to quit right now. We're going to quit while we're ahead. No amount of tank
She's
tops and low-rise
she's
jeans can save her in
oh
this show.
yeah. She's trying to act like a good version of Letty.
Yeah, and it's like, no shade, but Letty's not even that interesting of a character in the first place. So it's. And also her flashback episode is real like, ooh, this is
She just
tough
straight up
shit.
executed a
She just
guy.
killed a guy. I was pregnant. Well, you still killed him, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Jack, we have Sawyer, and I'm gonna say Shot in the Dark. I'm gonna maybe spoil whatever. I'm gonna say Saeed, even though he's in a really rough
Okay.
place right now where you're watching the show.
You got two of three.
Okay.
Jack is still my number one. Multiple people have told me that I was going to come around on Sawyer,
James Sawyer Ford, baby.
and man, I found out his name is James, so I can't really hate on the guy. So Sawyer is number two.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Now I would say Locke and Hurley are really five and six
Okay.
because there were two people who I was going back and forth for the number three spot, and number four is Jin.
Nice.
Number three is Echo.
Oh, I should have thought about that. Yeah, because Echo's a fucking badass dude. I love
Yeah,
Echo.
he did a lot of shit things. You can somewhat argue that it was the classic thing of it starts from a well meant place and then you just get stuck in this world where you will probably die. Um, but yeah, Sawyer, man, that Long Kong episode when he was, God, what was it? When I think Kate was telling him to go talk to Locke, I was like,
Yep.
mm, I didn't
Yep.
think the one thing though that I didn't see coming is that Charlie was the one who like fucking roughed up what's her
Son.
son.
Yeah, dude, I hate
Um,
Charlie just is not winning any more favors because
but
he's trying to do it to piss off Locke, and it's just so
yeah, it's not going to end well.
yeah.
Um, can I say something though? And I was shocked by this. And this was a moment where I was like, I didn't stand up or anything, but I kind of looked at the TV show. I was like, all right, Lindelof, okay, good job. For as shitty of a character, person wise, Charlie is, I still felt bad for him
Oh yeah, absolutely.
because everyone, and he makes a very good point, albeit he gives up on the point way too quickly, is that, you know, people are saying they're seeing Walt in the jungle and no one gives a shit. Kate sees a horse and no one cares, but I see something and oh, he must be on drugs.
Yeah.
And now, listen, the whole sleepwalking, I'm going to baptize your baby thing, like you kind of you kind of just have to keep your distance afterwards. You kind of have to take that L.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would have expected that. Like this is where it kind of draws because you would think that Locke is this guy who believes the isle. Like so, you've established that Locke as a character is someone who believes in, I guess, the god of it all or some weird thing because of
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
So how quick he was to dismiss what Charlie was saying seemed a little off character for him.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I felt bad for him. It's like yes, Claire. Ugh. So Shannon was my least favorite character. And then Letty put some fucking lead right through her. So then it was like, the Claire character was hanging around saying, "Hey, that position of most hated character is open. Let me fill that."
Why don't I take that? Yeah.
Uh, Now I get she's not going to have nearly as much or as many exciting things to do because you're always going to have to pair her with her child.
Yeah.
However, so Charlie lied to her once or twice, and she's like, "You can't be near my baby." He also fucking rescued you. Like I thought that would have,
Yeah.
I don't know, carried a little bit more weight. They're
I
very
mean,
quick, but
yeah.
however, if I'm on an island with Charlie, it's probably not going to take me too long to be like, "Dude, fuck off."
Right.
So,
Like
you kind of
known
understand.
drug addicts. Like I'm just not. Yeah. My thing about I do agree that I feel bad that like no one believes him and all that shit. My thing is like not just him though. I think that people just need to stop like discounting anything at this point because enough people are seeing weird shit. Like where you're at in season two, enough people. Kate, like you said, Kate sees a fucking horse, and not just like Sawyer sees it too in that scene.
Yeah.
So it's established that it's not just something that she's imagining. Like,
And yeah, and
yeah,
even when Shannon was seeing Walt, then
yeah,
Saeed saw Walt.
right.
Uh, Echo had a showdown with the ghost monster, which I gotta say, or smoke monster. Um, you know what? It's funny. I had a moment where they were showing because the CGI for the smoke monster is not good.
It's not great.
Uh, but it was I believe Lost was ABC, right?
Yeah,
So that's a major network with major money. Yet, I think we need to give credit, a lot more credit to a show like Smallville that had WB and CW money with very little. And
yeah.
I mean, some of their CGI is wonky, but I think it's on par.
It's
So
yeah,
I'm kind of like, but it
right.
is very much like mid 2000s television CGI.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Do you? I
Um,
mean, where you're at now, do you have any further, I guess, like theories or thoughts on the smoke monster and like what? Because I think the clearest you see it is that scene with Mr. Echo when it's right there in his face.
so I have a theory of the entire show.
Okay.
Uh, I think they are, and it's not like it came with this idea fresh out of my head. I remember weird things that people would say about that show Lost that I don't watch, that none of it made any sense. I can name off 10 or 20 different things that people had said, but I think they are in purgatory, and what they do on the island will then decide where they go from there. Because
Yeah.
I think everyone's backstory, they did some fucked up shit
Right.
with overall their characters were like meant well, or they had some sort of trauma happen to them or thing. So I think it's almost like a testing ground. We're gonna drop you here. This is purgatory. I guess otherwise, Newark was too dangerous. So they figure we'll put you on an island instead. Um, and then what you do while you're there will then define where you go. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. The smoke monster, I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how you theorize that. Like it now, the last episode, ugh. the the last batch of episodes I watched, I think two stand out as being the hardest ones to get through.
Hmm.
One was the most recent one, the maternity one,
Yep.
and then the other one was the Charlie one. And I'm
Yeah.
like, the first time, I'll tell you what I did. The first time I was watching the Charlie episode, where he sets the fire, and then he's in a hood and he's looking at the crib. I started skipping forward on Netflix because I'm like, it's gonna be like it was like The Office, like oh, what is it? Scott's Tots. It was like
Oh
that episode
God,
where you're watching it and it just makes you so uncomfortable
it's the
because you're like,
worst.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Um, but then I went back and saw it and saw Locke beat the shit out of him. But it's I don't know. They're opening up. Oh, so and maybe this I would be curious to ask you because I know you didn't watch Lost when it was first on
Right.
because gosh, how old were you even
Yeah,
when
it
that was
was.
on? But uh, did you know that now they had just captured the guy who's I think he's one of the major big bags of the others. Um, I forget the fake name he's saying, but like they have him in the hatch and they're interrogating him and all that shit. Did you know who he was when he showed up, or were you able to learn who he was as you organically watched the show?
Um, kind of both because I didn't know necessarily the role he plays in the show, and I would also say like keep an open mind in terms of that, like what he's gonna play in the show. But also, I was kind of like spoiled with just like knowing who Michael Emerson is and the roles he typically plays. So I just kind of like immediately don't trust him. And also, he's just a great fucking actor. So it's like you're constantly
Yeah.
like, who is this guy? No, I didn't know like the role he played, and it's the same. So I'm glad you've reached that point because a lot of people echo this, like Mr. Echo this.
Uh,
Who have seen the show, you'll hear this a lot. Lost is not like fully lost until you meet Michael Emerson's character. Like it's very interesting to see how the rest of the show plays out in terms of like his role. And then also I had mentioned to you, it's not really a spoiler to know that, I mean, I'm sure you can kind of ascertain that Desmond is gonna be back. Like
well, yeah, I was
he
just
didn't just
about to say
fuck off
about
into the
15
woods,
seconds ago. I was about to say, well, where the fuck did Desmond go?
Yeah, yeah.
Is
So
he just running the stairs again? Like, what is he doing?
he'll be back, and so like the two of them coming into season two, I would say is one of the weaker seasons of the show, but the two of them being brought into the show is a really big deal. You've got yeah, so you've met Henry Gale is like his name that
Yeah,
he
yeah.
gives them.
Well, my wife and I were flying in a hot air balloon crossing the Pacific. I'm like, no one is
What?
going to believe that, my guy.
Yeah, man, you got to come up with a better story than that.
No.
So you have them, you have Desmond. I'm trying to think of like any new huge developments because like the button is a big deal. I don't know how much you buy into the whole thing around like you have to press the button or shit's gonna hit the
I'm
fan.
like, and it's funny because it's one of those things where we've talked about this, and I've asked like, oh, of our group of people, or the people we know, who would be who, and I always thought I would be a lot like Jack. And in the last episode, Jack is calling Locke's bluff,
Yeah.
and he's saying straight up, I don't think anything's going to happen. I don't either. Um, I think it's just a big control ploy to get people to stop questioning and knowing that they can't. Like, if you, this was my kind of thought process. They give you the old school video
Hmm.
where the guys are like, okay, and then you and I suggest you take alternating shifts and blah, 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 blah. They are looking to control the people there, knowing that if you have a button that you are threatening, I don't know why it's 108, but I'm sure that'll eventually come into play. But uh, if they want to control them, they threaten that someone has to be here every couple hours to press this button or everything's going to explode as a means to be like, well, they can't stray too far from here. because they'll have to make sure that they're here every few hours to press this button.
Yeah.
That's why I think the button's bullshit.
Right.
Um, Plus, after that, technically, it got to zero before Locke input it,
Right.
and then it just started flipping like these red, like "oh my god" things, and then it reset anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's full shit. I'm probably wrong. Jim's always wrong. Uh, but yeah, one thing I've noticed, I definitely like season one more than season two so far.
Hmm.
I like the flashbacks of season one more than I like the flashbacks of season two. Um, I have every single time where you see Bernard show up, I always call him Bernard because that's what the butler was in Spider-Man. I
The
cleaned your
the
father's
blade
wounds.
that pierced his skin is the same blade.
Yeah, right. I just imagine after everyone's dead in the Osborn family, he's just walking around that house still dressing up in his butler suit, going, "What do I do now?" um, or he lives the Michael Caine life,
Yeah.
from Dark Knight Rises.
Right.
But what I've noticed is now everything's getting more splintered.
Yeah.
People are not trusting each other. Everyone has to make decisions. They're making agreements and going against the agreements.
Hmm.
And that's why I think I find myself liking Sawyer more than I did, is because he seems to be the only guy who really gets it.
Yep.
He's like what the hell are we doing here?
Right.
We're all, like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Jack is trying to hold everything together. It goes to, I can't remember what episode it was, but when he snapped at Kate, and I loved it because he said, "Everyone wants me to lead until I choose to,
Yeah.
and then you all have problems with it."
Right.
And then Locke is saying, "Okay, we need to make these decisions together." And then getting on Jack for seemingly making a decision, or he was about to make a decision without him, but then he does the same thing. However, Locke does acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Um, But Locke would piss me off so much if I had to be around him because he's the guy who, the way he speaks like a parent who obviously knows more than you do. Like if you understand that, like
Yeah.
when I'm watching, I could see he says something and you're like, well, he's right, but you hate that he's right. Um, and I think Jack's losing it.
Oh
He's
yeah.
he's he's clearly has a problem trusting people.
Yeah.
I think you get a sense that he thinks he's being taken advantage of. Um, and he's starting to crack. He's starting to be like, he's just getting more aggressive.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
you've got the like I need to fix everything complex with like his most recent flashback
yeah.
is the I'm gonna fuck this lady whose dad is dead
I was
flashback.
like, I was like, she is going to kiss you. Don't do it, man.
Yeah.
You got Happy Gilmore's Julie Bowen at home. But
Not for
then,
long.
but this is how Lost gets you. This is the
Yeah.
mark of a good TV show. You think the whole lead up, you're not even thinking about her.
Right.
You're thinking, is he going to be open about it? Are they going? And then she says, "I've been seeing someone," and
Yep.
you're just like,
What?
dude,
Yeah.
it's Scott Wolf, isn't it?
Yeah. No, yeah,
Everybody, yeah,
Jack is getting to that point. I'll be curious. You're heading towards kind of the home stretch for this season, and Jack is he goes to some really interesting places in the next couple episodes. Oh, and the most recent episode you watch also brought back one of my favorite random side characters because he's just so bizarre. Ethan, fucking William Mapother himself.
what else has he been in? Because he has such a weird face.
I'm gonna
And I,
yeah,
I saw that face. I keep thinking about it all I remember, all I got like is a gut feeling that I know I've seen him before, and I know he was probably an asshole in whatever I've seen him.
Okay, so this is not a hint because I'm gonna give you three choices of who his cousin is because he has a very famous cousin who you might be seeing their looks. But this isn't related. I think he looks like an American Pedro Pascal in a weird way.
I can see
He's
that.
got a weird kind of facial structure, but that
Yeah.
might just be me. But I'm gonna give you three choices. He has a cousin who's a very famous actor. Um, let's see. I'm never good at this. I always say I'm gonna do it, and I'm like immediately
You're like
terrible at it.
Danny Glover.
Yeah. Danny Glover, Dennis Reynolds as Danny Glover. All right, let's see. Kyle Chandler of soon to be Lanterns fame. Tom Cruise and Dennis Quaid.
So I can't place what I've seen him in, but I think I'm gonna eliminate Dennis Quaid.
Hmm.
And by, me eliminating him, Jim's always wrong. It probably means it's Dennis Quaid. I'm gonna say Tom Cruise.
Jim's always right. That's you got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen him in a Tom Cruise movie before.
Probably. I don't know if they've started anything together, but as soon as I heard that on the podcast I listened to, I watched the next episode with him in it. I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, I see it. I can see the Ethan Hunt intensity behind those eyes, and he's like weirdly buff, like more buff than he should be. You know?
Yeah, yeah, it's like you removed his head from another body and then put it on a body that didn't belong to him.
Yeah.
And he
It's
just has this weird creepiness. And like I said, I couldn't name him and I couldn't pick out what I had seen him in. But the second he made his first appearance, I was like, don't trust that guy.
and he's got this weird like Stockholm thing going on with Claire, and it's bizarre. Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
he can have her. Claire's the worst. I
Man.
hated her on Roswell,
Oh
and
fuck,
I
she is on
hate her in
Roswell.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's the fucking fourth alien, Tess.
that's right. Yeah.
I
Um,
had I have a type. I had a supremely big crush on the main character Liz from
yeah.
that show.
Oh, naturally.
I have a type. I'm cliche, and there's nothing special about me.
And I'm fucking stupid, and I would have died first on the island, and yeah. So okay, so you've got I'm excited to see you meet more of the others because Ethan's cool. I love. Let me think. I don't want to spoil anything. Well, you've met the people who took Walt very briefly, but
I met the main guy. Well, seemingly the main guy who had like the little meeting and everything.
okay, yeah, I was
And
gonna,
I know I
yeah,
had seen him in a bunch of things
yeah.
before, but I couldn't place it either.
I love him. I think he's it's in the scene where they take Walt. He's like way too friendly, and you're immediately like,
Yeah,
what is going on? And then when they say, what is it? Unfortunately, we have to take the boy. It's just, what's up?
yeah.
Excuse me?
Oh,
Um,
that's how Michael reacts. He's like, "What?"
huh?
Um,
Yeah,
but Michael's still out there.
yeah.
I
There's
don't.
a long stretch where you just do not see Michael.
I mean, I think that should be so. I think
Yeah,
you'll probably because also I'm sure if there's a long stretch where you don't see him later, they will then fill in the blanks in the time that was missed.
right.
But yeah, oh, Kate's flashback too. She
Blowing up
wound up
her
indirectly
stepdad's
killing her
house.
father
Yeah. Yeah,
because
hers are
she's like,
interesting because they're always
yeah,
so. One thing I love about Lost is with the flashback method or whatever, they give themselves the chance to just be like, we're gonna be this genre of show each week. Because like the Kate
yeah,
flashbacks are like a action adventure show, and then the Jack flashbacks are like a medical drama, and like so the Kate the Kate one is fully just like, oh okay, we're blowing up people's houses now. Cool, got it. Um, I don't know. I like her flashbacks because Kate is a character I go back and forth on quite a bit, and we talked about this last time. They didn't.
I've already settled into that space.
Yeah.
episode by episode, I'm like, shut up, Kate. And then I'm like, all right, Kate,
All right, I get it. Yeah. No, she goes back and forth, but her flashbacks really do her a lot of favors because she had a very complicated life naturally. I was thinking about what you said about Locke, and I also, again, he's my favorite character. I'd probably hate him too, but like we as the viewers have the benefit of understanding that like he has the most pathetic pre-island life of the entire cast.
dude, that episode where he got fucking played by his parents,
Had his own
I was like,
kidney taken. Yeah.
dude, like, how can
Brutal.
you? I don't know how you don't turn into a mass murderer after that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that seems like a backstory you would find on Law and Order SVU or something. Then he went around and he was taking kidneys off of Asian hookers in Chinatown. Like I've been watching a lot of Law and Order too. So, um, yeah, it's so screwed up.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up and he looks in the bed and it was gone, my heart just sank. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
fuck,
man.
dude.
It's the
But
worst.
oh, okay. Why the hell is Walt always soaking wet? Do they explain that?
Well,
Do they explain why he's wet?
what do you think that is? Like, why do you think that that is just Walt himself, or what do you think those
No, I
people are
think it's
seeing?
I think it's a vision. It's a projection of him.
Okay, and think
I
about
think
the last time
there's
we
like
actually
fucking
saw Walt.
superpowers, and I
Yeah,
can channel myself into old computer messenger code, and
yeah.
I don't think that's actually Walt. I think
So,
he's trying to connect with people. He's telepathic.
right.
That's what I think it is.
This is one of the shows. So a lot of things I obviously can't say much because you're going to find out in the show. This is one, to my knowledge, and I apologize if I'm wrong and you do get to an answer. I don't think the show just directly gives an answer to what's going on with that. My theory is that he the last time that we saw him, he was being taken by the others in a body of water, and so him trying to like communicate with other people is being affected by his surroundings. Like the frequency is being messed up by the water around him. I don't know otherwise, because otherwise I just don't like. It's a very weird thing to do and not have a deliberate reason for it. But you know,
Yeah, I mean,
he's
yeah,
also like
he
two
just
feet
kept
taller
going out.
because the kid, hit puberty halfway
Yeah.
through. Like in between the first two seasons, he obviously grew up. So
I'll just say that the others did some medical experiments.
they
They gave
just
him
stretched him out a
they
little
made
bit.
his legs longer. Yeah, we call it the Stretch Armstrong experiment.
You're gonna hit my favorite episode of the season. You're like two away from it. Is it's the next Lock flashback episode. It's called Lockdown. That'll be the next big
Oh, it's
one.
another one. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and then there's a Hurley one that's really good. But again, like you're starting to hit really the home stretch towards the finale. It's not like a three part. It's a two-part finale. So they're kind of you know. I think the three-part finale is a little extra, but um,
So there's
yeah.
another three-part finale.
No, it's two. It's two. And
It's
then I
two. Okay, the
think,
first one was three. Yeah.
yeah, I think from this point on, each season is a two-parter. I could be wrong,
Okay.
but yeah. Um, no, I just looked. Season four is another three-parter again. God, I think that's just too much.
Man.
It's extra, man. We don't need that. It's okay though, because the season four finale is one of the best episodes of the show. But yeah, you're barreling towards the end. I want to see some live thoughts, especially when you hit the finale, because the season two finale is really where Lost starts to kind of like find its voice, I think, and it's very much of a genre when you get to the end of season two. Like it's sticking to one part of the story they're telling, and you'll see that in season three as well.
Okay,
Um,
so it seems like season one was kind of going up like this, and now season two, it's branching out to like all these different things, and then I guess the end of season two into season three, it gets a little bit more centralized.
yeah, for sure. Um, and you can identify each season by like the big I wouldn't say threat, but the big like subgenre they're doing. So you'll see
Yeah.
that with season three as well. Um, yeah. So that has been our lost check-in. We've been down the hatch and we still can't find Desmond. Wow, we even
Why,
have
why are
effects
there
go.
what?
What the fuck is going
I don't
on?
know. I did thumbs up. I
Jim's
went
going
like
to the
this.
Jim's going to
Oh wait,
Disneyland.
no, was it this? Was it this?
Oh fuck.
What is going on?
All right, so we are going to jump into our next topic. I think we should touch on this real briefly. You said you've watched the first episode of Creature Commandos.
Yes.
Okay, so I've watched both, but we can talk about the first one. What are our just our general thoughts as we're starting this show?
Well, one thing going into it, it's how do I really articulate this? Um, our goals or hopes for the new DCU are, they got a lot going on. And it
Yeah,
doesn't seem, it's not going to just be one medium. It's going to be films, it's going to be TV shows, it's going to be animated, it's going to be games, it's going to be all this stuff. And then they're starting it with something called Creature Commandos, which I am not familiar with at all.
yeah,
I knew some of the characters existed. I didn't know anything about like their backstories or anything like that.
hmm
It was fun. Um, it just makes me. It was definitely good. I definitely enjoyed it. I both curious to see where it's going to go from here, but I'm also curious to see what kind of role this is going to play in the larger, DC world as time goes on. Is it going to, and maybe some of these questions will kind of be answered since I haven't seen the second episode yet. Um, but I'd be curious to see if. So I'll use Superman as a prime example. His movie is going to be the first movie that's coming out. He's kind of going to be the stalwart. He's going to be like the center of their thing, as he should. He's Superman. I would be curious to see if they would take their main characters and then have him have a name drop or maybe a cameo or a little appearance in these other mediums or kind of like the how open to the cross pollination are they going to get,
yeah.
especially with a show like Creature Commandos, which seems to be piggybacking off of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Yeah, and I'm curious. So I both like the connective tissue, and I think they're kind of like picking and choosing a little bit because you have both the events of we knew this going in, like the Suicide Squad is canon because Rick Flag is in fact still dead, and they're like they
Yeah,
put quite a fine point on that of saying like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. Sorry about
yeah,
your
yeah.
son. And then you have Peacemaker is canon because they mentioned that Waller's daughter what happened to Peacemaker basically. Like
Right,
she
right, right.
exposed that. But then also I kind of like that they're immediately establishing kind of a new canon with the first thing we see, or one of the first things we see is like, oh, okay, Cersei is a thing in this universe. Like, got it.
Yeah.
That's a huge Wonder Woman villain. And that's a canon thing now. That's cool. Did you watch? So you watched the first episode. Did you watch like the little teaser for the rest of the season?
No, I don't think I did.
So there's a little tag there at the end during the credits, and
Oh yeah, as
uh,
soon as the credits came on, the way mine went, the credits came on and then I had to run out and do something, so I just turned it off, so I didn't
okay.
realize there was anything in credit.
It's just like a little preview for the rest of the season, but there's a little snippet where it shows Cersei, I guess, encountering the team and like trying to warn them about something, and she shows them something, and it is I'm surprised you haven't seen it because it's like so it's Peacemaker. It's a bunch. Think of like remember Age of Ultron when Stark sees like all the people dead in front of Thanos and all that. It's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of it's kind of like that. It's like you see Peacemaker dead, you see Superman, Starfire, and like some other random ass hero. Can't think of who it is, but it's Superman and Starfire for sure. Like fully just dead, like their bodies are like impaled with something.
Is
And
it like and it's in animated form?
yes, yeah.
So is it representative of the new actor, or is it kind of like from behind, so you just see the cape?
It's kind of hard to make out because it's like in this weird dream vision thing. But it looks like Corn Sweat. Like the suit looks like the new suit from the movie.
Okay.
So, I guess that kind of answers what you were talking about of like how much it's going to play into. later on stuff. I don't think we're gonna get a Superman cameo in it or whatever, but like I guess this is already laying the foundation for like the threat that's coming, maybe. Very curious about that. But I was like, wow, that's a bold thing to do in your first not just your first episode, like the very first thing in your cinematic universe is like, hey, look, Superman might be dead in this alternate thing or whatever. So,
That's talk
you know,
about swinging for the fences.
yeah. Um, but I agree. I think it's again, we talked about this. It's kind of weird to start out with a show like this, but it's fun. I mean, it's a fun show. I love the little like self-insert of James Gunn in the credits.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, what?
I know that guy. You know, I like the team, obviously. I think GI Robot is really funny. Like I love the scene with him
He's yeah, he's probably my favorite so far. Just the
and
fact that
that's Sean
all he
Gunn.
wants to do is talk about how many Nazis he's killed, and he wants other people to agree to help him kill Nazis.
He just wants a friend
I
to
mean,
kill Nazis with, and don't we
that's a
all,
great
right?
goal,
Yeah.
right? Great
That's
goal.
my 2025 vision board right there.
It's good to have goals and very timely.
He's great. Uh I like the Frankenstein stuff. I'm trying to remember how much is in episode two. I guess there's gonna be more in episode two, but there's more with like her and Victor in episode two or whatever. Yeah, Victor Frankenstein. And that's cool because I clocked Hopper's voice immediately from Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm curious. I know it's only like 8 episodes, and I don't think they're gonna do more than one season. So it's kind of a like a very like soft launch of like we're gonna do this new universe, and here's a little show to kind of tease things, and then we're obviously getting Superman next. But in terms of
Superman's
like who,
Superman's in
what's up?
July, right?
I think it's yeah, July next year.
Fine.
Um, so yeah, that'll be next, and then we've got like Peacemaker at some point next year, I think. Um, I know that like Superman is confirmed to be showing up in Supergirl, so that
Oh
is
yes.
a little bit yeah, that's been confirmed because she's obviously going to be in his movie, but that's less surprising because the entire fucking DC roster is going to be in that
Good.
movie. So,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I'm hopeful. I actually kind of like the idea of him just kind of hopping around and being in most of the other things, just to establish that he's like the guy and he's gonna be carrying this franchise. So I'm okay with him popping up in most things as long as it makes sense narratively. But you know,
Yeah.
Supergirl is easy enough to do because they're cousins and whatnot, and
In and in past iterations, everything is centered around Batman, which don't get me wrong, love Batman. But he's kind of gotten his day again
yeah,
and again and again and again. And Batman's, I mean, he's one of the most well known and greatest, super heroes for a reason. Super profitable, all that stuff. So you're not going to block someone like him out. But you know, if they could push Superman to the forefront and have it work, that would be a big, I think, a big accomplishment
yeah,
because Lord knows how long it's been since they were able to do that.
yeah. I think Batman works best when he's not like he needs to be in the team because he's one of the core three and like he needs to be a founding member and I agree with that. I think he works best when he is founding, but he's still kind of in the background. Like, did you ever watch or read The New Frontier? Which was like the
Yeah.
real
Hmm.
throwback. Loved that approach that he's very much a guy that everyone knows and he's there in the team. But I think it's basically just a Green Lantern movie and the team
Yeah.
kind of forms around him in the Flash and Superman's there too. Like and I like that. This is obviously going to be a Superman team and then I'm curious to see how Batman factors in because we've got I guess an older Batman. I mean, this
Yeah.
is Damian Wayne coming into the movie, so he's going to be at least a little older.
That's past Dick Grayson. That's past Jason Todd. That's
Yeah,
I would be curious to see if this is a world with a potential Terry McGinnis down the line. I don't think so,
yeah.
but I just and it's going to sound very cheesy. I just kind of want to see a movie where Superman and Batman are like actually friends
Friends, yeah.
and
That seems
not
like Really
Like,
simple, but we didn't get
yeah,
that with the last time. So
and I
yeah,
get it. You have them at odds at times with how to deal with things and their ideologies, but it doesn't mean that you got to like constantly fight and then do all this shit.
yeah,
Just have them work together. You know,
yeah.
like come
And
on.
I think we spent a lot of time kind of shitting on like the current state of the MCU, but one thing I will give them credit for is in like the early movies when they're bringing the team together, they did a great job of like setting up that there was conflict with the Avengers, and then they just quashed it pretty quickly. Like in the first Avengers movie, especially, you have them like the fight in the woods or whatever, and then they're immediately a team after that.
Yeah,
And I think that's all you need to do with Batman and Superman. You can have like an
yeah,
initial scuffle, and then they like, okay, cool, now we're bros. Like we
right.
can team up now. So, you know, but I don't know. I'm curious to see how it comes together because it's gonna be a while before we get the Batman movie, I think. Like we're gonna have a fully established Superman and probably a fully established Justice League at that point. So, or maybe
Yeah, I
not fully
mean,
established, but like
by
team
that
members will
time,
be around.
who are the main team members who are going to be established by then? Obviously, Superman. I would
Supergirl.
imagine both Green Lanterns,
Yep.
Supergirl.
I mean, I think Hal is going to bite it in the Lantern show. I don't want that to be the case because that's my guy, but I think it's just going to be John and Guy Gardner.
Hmm.
But
Can they
uh,
bring Kyle Rayner and just have him die?
you know who we just talked about Lost. My ideal, he's a little old now, but I thought Boone would have made the perfect Kyle Rayner back in the day, like maybe in the time of Lost.
Oh
Perfect.
yeah,
And if he brings that Boone Carlisle energy, great. He's just a little
yeah.
fuckboy who wants to be the main Green Lantern. Like,
He wants to be
he's
the main Green Lantern, but he just doesn't know as much as he think he knows. It's like I enjoyed Boone as a character. I was pissed that he died. One, because
Yeah,
I do like the actor, but two, because I thought he was a very important type of character having a show like that. Because you have
yeah,
Jack, who's an expert in one way, you have Locke, who's an expert in so many other things. You have Kate, who's equipped to do this, and then you have Boone, who wants to be, but just isn't.
yeah,
And he has the wherewithal and he has the bravery, the stupid bravery that's like, hey, let me do it, let me do it. And really, I mean, it kind of is Locke's fault that he died
yep,
because if he isn't getting that weird, temporary movement in his legs, Boone probably doesn't climb up.
yep,
And, but yeah, I don't know, it'll be curious to see how they work in a Wonder Woman, they work in a Flash. Uh, I mean, I think we said this last time. I'd imagine it's got to be a Wally West. Um,
yeah,
you know, just because, or maybe they just decide they're going to do Barry Allen, but like a more traditional Barry Allen, not a Barry Allen in name only, just to kind of wash the bad taste of that movie. I'll tell you this: I bought the Steelbook for the Flash movie
that's a
solely
choice.
for Michael Keaton.
You know what? That's fair. I get
But
it.
then it's still in its wrapping. I never opened. So it's there's so many movies that I have that I'm like, oh, it's a cool cover. It's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
Or there's one specific thing I liked about it, and then it's still in the wrapping. I'm like,
I thought Keaton was good in the movie. I liked that he came back. Like I was very against it initially, and I thought he was really fun. But it's really interesting that they saw that and they were like, because of that, let's have this guy direct the Batman movie. I thought that was really curious because he's going to be making Brave and the Bold.
the guy who did the Flash movie.
Yeah, which is I don't know how to feel about that, but like
What?
where did that come from? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm curious, you know.
What did? Huh?
Yeah.
Maybe James Gunn is like, you know what? I'll let you do a Batman movie as long as you stay the fuck away from the Flash.
Yeah, that's right.
And no
Lose Ezra
more,
Miller's number.
and don't include CGI characters of people who are dead.
Dude.
Which I don't. it's an interesting conundrum because a lot of people seem to say, "Oh, it's bad taste or it's in bad faith." But anyone who was used, it had to have been signed off by either them or their family. So then how much of it becomes, oh, it's in bad taste, or is it just a matter of it looks wonky
Or
and it
just tone
doesn't?
deaf. Because,
What's
like,
that?
or just tone deaf. Because we can say that people signed off on it, but, like, I'm sure what they're signing off on is just like, oh, I'm sure you're going to do something really quick to honor my dead so and so.
Yeah,
And then we end up with, like, Leia at the end of Rogue One, like,
it
it's just,
was.
it's never worked for me, and it's never been something that has, like, enriched a movie where I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what? That did add a lot to the movie. Like, just,
Yeah.
just recast the role. That's all you
Hey,
need to do.
you know who just recast the role and yet it worked just as well? It was Mike Flanagan in
Yup,
Doctor
Doctor
Sleep.
Sleep. That's right.
It
Best
was
example.
perfect. You knew it
Yep.
wasn't Jack Nicholson, but no one is expecting it to be Jack Nicholson. You got to
And
give the
yep.
viewers a little bit more credit there. They understand why you cast it, and it's a character. It's not that person, so you
Yep.
could do that. Um, I still think you, for each of the people who passed away, you could have easily had someone else in that.
Yep.
Instead of a Christopher Reeve, you could have went and got a Tom Welling. You could have gotten a Henry Cavill. You could have
Brandon
gotten
Routh.
Brandon Routh.
Yeah, he was right there.
Yeah.
If you wanted
Instead
some
of an Adam
synergy, just do
West.
Tyler Hoechlin or Hecklin, whatever his name
Yeah,
is.
you
Like,
could have done that.
yeah.
Um, or you could have played actual footage from it
Yeah. The
instead of
same,
having it be
like,
CD,
message
like
would have
yeah,
been
CGI. Yeah.
broadcast. Yeah.
But and I get the whole Nick Cage thing. I love Nick Cage being in anything, but it doesn't really make sense in the term of the movie.
Yeah, that was the
Um,
one, and I know I'm a bit hypocritical here, but that was the one that I just kind of gave a pass for because, like, that's like a if you know, you know kind of thing. Like, we
yeah,
all were
yeah.
kind of in on the joke there of
And
like, oh, they
apparently
did
Nick
the
Cage,
thing.
like, well,
He had
for
no
one who's
idea.
alive, he signed off on it.
Right? Yeah.
So it's kind of like okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's more of a tongue-in-cheek thing. But yeah, one day we got to talk about the Flash movie as a whole, just because it seems it's just such an odd and uneven movie.
Yeah.
Something you'll have a scene with Barry and his mother that's
Yeah.
like so high emotional and touching, and then you'll just go to a scene where it's just completely different than that, and you feel like they just took different cuts and different versions, and this is a fan film. They just slapped them all together. It is
Yeah.
just really odd.
One thing I'll give it, and it's sad that it happened in this movie because I like Ben Affleck. I think he was given absolute dog shit to work with in the entire DC EU, but
Yeah.
really great in the Flash. I mean, not the
Oh
not the
yeah.
Batman stuff, but the scene when he's telling Barry about like you can't fuck with the past and all that. The best acting he does in the entire
Yeah.
DCEU. Like it's really good, and it's a bummer that we didn't get that for the entire thing. But at least he got one little last hurrah, I guess.
And I think that's why that's ultimately the kind of frustration that Affleck had, which led to him not doing his own movie and to just fucking
Yeah,
bouncing out because it's just like and I think when you sign up for this, it's probably the same reason that Henry Cavill signed up is thinking, all right, we'll get there, and then I will get my time to shine.
yeah.
But it's who was it? I can't remember who it was. It was a writer of some movie. I can't remember. Well, that really
Oh, right, that one.
yeah, that one with the movie that was written by that guy. No, but writers talk about how it's like, all right, you're sold. I can imagine that you're sold on a movie, you're sold on a part, you're sold on a role. Oh, this is what we envision it to be. But then there is an entire process that it has to undergo where people leave, new people come in, you have studio interference, they want this, they want to change the script, and then this doesn't play, but we got to do this. and then we got to build another movie, and we got to build a new universe and everything. And then what your product winds up being at the end is very different from what you expected it to be at the beginning. And all you
Yeah.
can really do is, I guess, just keep moving forward and hope for the best.
Right.
And I was hoping that Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck would have gotten their time. I always thought Gal Gadot was a terrible Wonder Woman.
Yeah. She.
She's not a she's a shit actress.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, like, I know, like, people all of a sudden got very loud to say how bad she was because she's Israeli. Um, but no, that has nothing to do with it.
She was
She's a
already a
bad
really bad
actress
actress.
because she sucks. She
Yeah.
got she got really famous in Fast and Furious because they showed close-ups of her ass.
Right.
And they put her in bikinis and they had her play like the sexy chick and that every guy can look at and everything. And it's like, all right, well, it might be great to start, but it's like, let's not pretend they gave her a chance to be like, I don't think she's ever really gotten a meaty role to partake in. Like, a lot of these roles are just
Yeah.
like, what is
She's
it?
just kind of there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she really thought, keeping up with the Joneses was going to really skyrocket. It's like, oh man, we were really,
This is the one.
oh, this is
Yeah.
the one. We were rehearsing and running lines all day. No, but I hear her. Oh, what movie was playing? It was the second Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman 84. Or known as the other headline, Pedro Pascal, why did you do this? Um,
Pedro Pascal trying his fucking hardest to make
yeah,
it an
trying.
entertaining movie.
He just
He's so good.
commits, dude.
He's
He is
so
so
good.
good. Um, I was watching a bit like that, and it was after she, I guess, resurrects or whatever you want to say, Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
Um, there's no emotion in anything she says. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Everything is just so monotone. It's like she's obviously reading lines. And
Right.
I'm like, hey, if you can make a career out of that, good for you. There have been a
Right.
lot of worse actors than her. They're having, okay, okay. You are familiar with the variety thing where they have like two actors, they pair them up and they discuss.
Yep.
There's one with Pamela Anderson. I can see her sitting there going, yeah, the quality on the bag that Sacha Baron Cohen, I mean Borat, put over my head and tried to drag me away in that department store.
God damn
Like,
it.
and it's funny because Ryan Reynolds is listed and people started
Yeah.
talking tons of shit on him for it. And he had written this thing that I do agree with. I think comedy is hard because for every good comedy, there are like 100 ones that are fucking awful.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to be funny. However, everyone's going after him, and there's one I gotta see. I think I don't want to say who Pamela Anderson is paired with unless I get it right because it's going to be so disappointing if I say this person and I get it wrong. Um, is that how you spell her name? Yes. Okay. I think.
I think it's
I think.
yeah.
Um, Let me see. Variety actors on actors, or what is it called?
Actors on actors.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's
Yes. Mikey Madison,
right.
who of Scream 5
Of
fame.
Ghostface
And
fame.
then that new film where she plays like a hooker who
He
gets
plays a sex worker,
married
yeah.
to like someone who's in the mob or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and they're like, here, budding actress with possible future Oscar nomination. Talk to Pamela Anderson about acting. Like,
Why not?
no,
You know?
no, I'm all for it. Like, pair up
Yeah.
anything, but it's just so weird that crowd is going in so hard on Ryan Reynolds, yet
Yeah.
not mentioning
Yeah.
anything. It's odd. I think they should get crazier. Get crazier.
Throw in
I
Tommy
got a good one.
Wiseau.
right? Tommy Wiseau and Nick Cage, actors on
Dude,
actors,
I would pay to watch that. I
right?
would pay a whole subscription
You
service
gotta
to watch
lean
that.
in. And these
Um,
people were talking shit on it. It's like, who are you?
well, okay, so did you hear? So I don't really care about that stuff. Like whoever can be in it, but the thing that bothers me is you hear who's supposed to be a part of it, but none of those fucking gutless people agreed to be in a
Yeah,
conversation with
yeah,
him.
Sebastian Stan, because what, he's playing Trump?
It's because he played Trump in an honest movie that doesn't paint Trump in the best light, and all those people are too afraid to like be paired up with him because of what the movie does.
It's,
You know.
I
And I
mean,
haven't seen the movie, but I'm sure it's great, and I'm sure he's great, but no one would agree to like speak with him because they think it's like a target on their back or something. I don't know. Like it's just it's really disappointing. Not that I
it,
expected much because it's these are actors after
you
all,
know,
but you know.
yeah. That, I remember that. And then also, lately, I've been seeing more and more of an emphasis on social media of like, so and so is at this awards and they're wearing this dress and look, and it's always, or they're wearing the suit. And whenever they take these pictures, I swear to God, none of them are ever smiling. They're all just like this, like stupid things. And then it makes me think about that clip of Jim Carrey where he showed up to an award show just to make fun of it.
My
And then
favorite
the
clip.
interviewer, yeah, the interviewer is like,
None of
here,
this
you're
means
here to celebrate
anything.
icons. That's what it was. Celebrate
Yeah.
icons. And then he just starts laughing and he's like, icons, yeah, I just tried to find like the lowest form ever. Um, and there's one part in this clip. When we post this, I'll remind me, I'll put them in the comments. There's one part in the clip where you can tell the interviewer is completely just uncomfortable, wasn't
Yep.
expecting this. There's silence, holding the microphone like this up to Jim Carrey. There's silence, and then he just goes, on the good foot. And it kills me every time. It's
Yeah.
like, man, say what you want about that guy, but he totally gets it. It's like the whole
Yep.
thing is just it's it's got to be one of two things if you're someone on the inside. It either has to be extremely stressful because it's probably loaded with all these favors and all these alliances, and you
Right.
can't do this because then this person's going to kill something of yours,
Yep.
or it's got to be on the Jim Carrey side of things where you are in this world where you're like, none of this makes sense. It's all a joke. I just want to play something in a movie,
Right.
so it's
Just let me play Dr. Eggman for the third time.
yeah. He plays two Eggmen in this, and apparently they have a dance scene together. So it's Jim Carrey and Jim Carrey dancing together. I'm
Cinema.
like, dude's like, hey, this is gonna be fun. I'll go
Yeah.
dance. And if you look at Jim
Why
Carrey's
not?
movies, he loves dancing. If you could go back to 1985's Once Bitten, hell of a dance
That's
scene in
right.
that one.
Yeah, he's got a surprisingly high number of dance numbers in his
Yeah,
movies.
still not as high as John Travolta though.
Well, no one's as high as John Travolta most of the time.
Uh, oh my god.
Um,
Even John Travolta, he would make an excuse to come up with a dance scene in every movie. Even what's the second one? Look who's talking two. I think it was like
they made a
TOO.
second one.
Dude, they made three of them. The second one is Look Who's Talking Two, and they get like I think it's a baby sister,
Yeah.
and they're like, how can we? And I'm pretty sure Travolta's thinking like, how can we make a dance scene in this movie? Watch the hair. Uh, it's in a daycare setting where they have like those little daycare like playground,
Yeah.
and he just starts dancing and singing in the middle of it, and he's playing with the kids and everything. It's great. But then the third one was Look Who's Talking Now,
Oh, of
and
course.
the two kids are grown up, so obviously they can't have that inner monologue anymore.
Right.
So now there are dogs, and the
Oh.
dogs have the inner monologue.
Oh.
But it's great. All three of those movies, mwah, perfection.
That's a movie trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's God. You learn something new every day. I really thought it was just the one movie. That's
Oh
crazy.
man. Unlike Highlander, there cannot be only one.
You're telling me we got three Look Who's Talkings and we still only have one The Nice Guys? This is the kind of unjust world we live in. Because there should be like fucking six movies from that
Oh yeah.
by now. Come on,
Oh
give
yeah.
me every year. Just give me Gosling and Crow. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Russell Crowe,
but
dude. I, there was one part of the movie where I felt so jealous of Russell Crowe's character is when he was just walking with a case of Yoo-hoo. I was like, dude, he's living the life. I wish I had some right now. That shit's delicious.
yeah, man. Um, yeah, actors on actors. I don't know how we got here.
Remember we started talking about Lost?
Okay. Let's round it up. You know what? This is, we talked last week about where this started from. We used to do podcasts every now and then and played a good old fashioned game. I want you to, if you are, we can axe this if you're not
No, I'm gonna play a
within
game.
reaching
Tell me the
distance,
game.
but if we can grab a DVD cover and guess the movie based off of the back. I don't know if you're within like reaching distance of a movie,
I am not.
or you can just look through, whatever you want. We can just Google something.
I'll Google it because this is I'm not. I'm in a different domicile.
Okay.
Bitch. No. This is my domicile.
Fuck you.
Uh, all right. I'm going to come up with. I'll do the. Oh, you probably search for a DVD description. I got just the movie I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
Do do
Because I
do 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 do. Do 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 do.
I
Do,
got a
do,
great I
do,
got a
do.
great foil and counterpart. You think of a movie, find one that you can describe, and then as a counterpart, because if we're nothing if not the token straight and the token gay. I will describe three Glee plots, and you have to tell me which one's fake.
Oh. All right. Okay. Bill Furpo. That's the name.
Excuse me?
That's the name. Bill Furpo is trying to. No, okay, now you're going to hear the next couple words. It might not be how you take it. Uh, Bill
Okay.
Furpo is trying to stay straight, but at the behest of his brothers, Dave and Alvin, he agrees to help out on a bank robbery, which they assure him cannot go wrong. Dave and Alvin have recently gotten out of jail, and the poorly guarded bank in a small town in Pennsylvania provides an opportunity for easy money they just can't pass up. The robbery proves successful, but they don't manage to beat the huge snowstorm out of town. Snowed in with their loot, they are taken in by the unwitting townspeople they've just robbed, who give new meaning to the phrase killing with kindness.
Okay, when it started, I was really thinking there was like a Sam Raimi movie back in the 90s. I think it's like A Simple Plan or something. Not the band. Um,
Oh, okay.
no, it's not that.
How could this happen to me?
Can I get, okay, I'm trying to think of what I can ask for that won't give too much away. Can I get a release year?
Sure can. I believe I believe it's 93 or 94.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So I was able to find the actual I what I read was the description from the someone selling it on eBay.
okay.
They have a picture of the actual back of the DVD, so I am also going to read that.
Okay.
Um blank blank and blank are the larcenous Furpo brothers. Bill is a good-hearted guy doing his best to keep pathological Dave and kleptomaniac Alvin out of trouble. But the two small-time crooks lure their brother into robbing a bank in the small town of blank, Pennsylvania. Can't tell you the name of it because it's in the title of the movie.
Yeah.
Where pulling off the heist is a snap. compared to getting out of town after a snowstorm hits. And the brothers soon discover that all their big city smarts are useless against the unsuspecting, good hearted townsfolk who shower them with kindness at every turn.
See, that shit at the end is really giving like Coen Brothers, but I can't think of anything that would fit that. Man. So the Pennsylvania town is in the title.
Yeah.
Dunder Mifflin Paper Company.
If I gave you, I think if I gave you the people who were in it, it would give it away.
Okay. Shit.
Um, two, it stars one big movie star and two former SNL cast members.
Oh.
Do you want me to give you the SNL cast members?
Yeah, yeah.
Dana Carvey plays the kleptomaniac, and the pathological liar is played by John Lovitz.
This is like now I just want to know what this is so I can immediately watch it
It is a
because
Christmas movie.
I got nothing.
It is called Trapped in Paradise. The name is
Oh.
Paradise, Pennsylvania, and the movie star, the main star of this movie, is one Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I've never even heard of this movie.
Dude, Trapped in Paradise. It's only out on VHS or DVD. Never got a proper release. Pretty hard to find, but you could probably find it online.
It's on Tubi.
And it's on Tubi?
Hey, thank God for Tubi has everything, man. Tubi has everything.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Can I
Yeah.
get some some thumbs up for Tubi?
I had no idea that's a thing. Now I'm gonna Google like what different effects can you trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reading a very serious synopsis for a lost episode, and you're just gonna be like, um, okay, let me think. I think the Glee thing was a really bad idea, but I'm gonna find something where I can like read two
Is it the
plots and
one
give
where
you
Leah Michelle is
bullshit.
overrated?
Yeah, the one where Leah Michelle can't read. That's all of them.
She wasn't even the most attractive one in the show either. That was
Yeah,
Jane
I
Lynch.
mean, they're high school. Oh, I was like, they're high schoolers, man. Where are we going with this? Okay. I can't think of plots, but I'm gonna give you three things that happen in the show. You gotta tell me which one's fake. So,
Okay.
number
Okay.
one, speaking of Jane Lynch canonically marries herself on the show. There's a whole ceremony. Number two, there is, each episode they sing different songs. There is an episode where one of the main cast members, who is in a wheelchair, sings "Walking on Sunshine." John Locke, we never knew ye.
What is it with guys named John in wheelchairs?
and there's there's an episode where what's his name? Corey Monteith's character, the guy who passed away,
Uh,
Finn, spends the entirety of the episode breaking the fourth wall and taking the audience like along with him throughout the entire episode.
so one of them is real or one of them's fake?
One of these is fake.
God, two of them are real. Shit. I think the Walking on Sunshine thing, I'm voting for that to be real just because I so badly want it to be real. Uh, and uh, I'll say the Jane Lynch one is real just because I don't know. I could see some sort of you find out it's not legal, or she does it in a dream sequence or in a play or some shit. I'll say the fake one is the breaking the third wall, the
Yeah,
fourth wall.
that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
I can't even
Wait,
remember the
wait.
context, but come on, bring it home, bring it home.
Come on, where are my fireworks?
The best thing is going to be when it just doesn't
Boom!
work.
Fucking fireworks.
I think she just straight up marries herself. There's no other context. She just
How
has
is
a whole
that legal?
ceremony and
How's
huh?
it possible? How is that possible?
Listen, man, if you can fuck your sister, you can marry yourself.
What?
So this has been this is the Space Boys Cowboys podcast. Just ask Boone.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
man.
right, all right. Oh my God, I was like, please tell me they didn't do that in Glee.
I wouldn't put it past him. I really wouldn't.
And did they
Um,
sing? Did they sing "Endless Love"? Oh, they did.
oh
Friends can
no.
sing "Endless Love" in the dark. Oh,
Okay, give me one more
all right.
synopsis.
I'll give another one. Gosh, let me see. Uh, oh, you know what? Oh man, I'm blanking on the. What is this movie? I got to tell you, if I could figure out what this movie is, I got to tell you the search terms I use to remember the actual name of it. What is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, okay, okay. Um, where is it? There it is. But I need a picture of it. All right. Okay, so after an American attack robot RS-1 is unleashed onto the streets of Hong Kong, crime fighting team the Gen Y cops find themselves on the wrong side of the law. Their newest member is accused of stealing RS-1 and is forced to go on the run. Oh, no, I'm
This
going to use a better one. It's from IMDb.
okay.
This one says after a lethal American attack robot RS-1 is unleashed onto the mean streets of Hong Kong, Asia's funkiest crime fighting team finds themselves on the wrong side of then law.
Ben
IMDb
Ben
said
Law.
then law. And can I tell you who it stars?
I'll tell you, this is the Paul Rudd vehicle Gen Y cops.
Yes. Yes. The
Oh
original
man, what a
title,
classic.
is Dak Jing Sang Yang Lui 2. That's what it is.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, you
It's
nailed that.
4.6 out of 10, and I feel like that's cutting it a little short.
Yeah.
Also, Paul Rudd has bleach blonde hair in it.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd, national
Um,
treasure.
Alternate versions. The American version cut mostly dialogue, taking out Match's involvement with an internet company. Match's name is different from Match Fung to Match Young. Some of the Chinese dialogue is wrongly translated or not translated at all.
Oh,
Oh man. And you know what one of the lines of Paul Rudd's character Ian Curtis is? Roseanne Barr Arnold will be president of the United States before you two punks see the light of day.
and if that's not the most 2000 thing about that movie, I don't know what is.
Oh my god. Oh, there's 24 user reviews, dude.
Dude, there's 24 user reviews.
24. One says, "Good lord. I love Paul Rudd and all, but my god, this movie is rank. It makes little to no sense, and the thing keeps pausing to identify characters. Not to mention the accidental subtitling when people are speaking English. Paul Rudd does look good wet, though.
Okay. Well,
You know, I mean, it's
they're
they're
not
trying to be
wrong.
positive.
Yeah.
Um, there's another one that rated it 1 out of 10. They said so bad, very, very bad. Tried to watch some of this when the movie I was watching had a commercial. No spoilers here. There is nothing to spoil. There is nothing to talk about. There is nothing. The end.
They got a little philosophical there at the end.
Yeah,
Also,
it
I'm
makes me
sorry. I tried to
it
watch
makes
some
me
of this while the movie I was watching had a commercial. How does that work? What?
on the
I'm gonna turn
computer,
on this other
probably.
movie on my phone. What the fuck is
Yeah.
going on there?
I don't know, but it made me think of when Jeremy Renner and Paul Rudd were going on the press tour for Avengers Endgame, and then they asked him, and then Jeremy Renner was like, "The movie will begin, and then it will end."
And then it will end.
Oof.
Well,
Oh,
this has
boy.
been another exciting entry into the Space Cowboys canon.
Ooh,
Talking
yeah.
about Gen Y
Yeah.
cops and other
Oh my
things.
God. Yeah.
That's right, brother. We will be back next time talking more Lost, talking more, I'm sure, DC. Uh,
Yeah, hopefully by the
we,
next time I'll be done with season 2 of Lost,
yeah,
and we'll see after that. I would imagine there are going to be more characters introduced that I haven't seen yet. Just like last time, there were characters I hadn't seen yet.
yeah.
So
We'll get more on that. We will probably be talking about, J.J. Abrams' Felicity, as we do every time.
oh yeah,
Carrie
man,
Russell's hair, and
dude, Gary Russell's hair, and
you know,
Roman from Scream 3.
and just remember Roman from Scream 3.
Oh yeah, he played Sean in Scrubs.
Oh, that's right.
Not
He is
Scott
in Felicity.
Speedman. The other dude. I don't know why
Shut
I'm
up,
blanking on his name.
Sean.
Yeah, shut up,
Yeah.
Sean. I heard
Who
they're bringing
cares,
Scrubs
Sean?
back,
They are bringing Scrubs back.
but they haven't gotten any of the actual. It looks like they're trying to get the original cast back.
You know what they should do is they should just make a whole other season to this show, but they should cast the less talented Franco brother, and then they should make an entire bullshit season about him instead of JD. And this has been the Space Cowboys podcast. See you guys. Bye.